So I was playing Elden Ring the other day, and one thing that's always boggled me or disturbed me, I guess, um, is that the misproportioned bodies of some of the humanoids in the game. Um, and you can see them; they have the elongated necks. Some of them have elongated arms, and they're just misproportioned, like completely. And then you have like the ones that just look like regular humans, and then you have like the um, the vulgar militia, which are like the gnomes. But let's not worry about the gnome people, right? Let's w- Today I want to talk about. I think I've in my mind I've come somehow reconciled it, right? And it was in the very beginning of the game. You see an Alabaster Lord. No, it's an Onyx Lord. You see an Onyx Lord, right? And it never occurred to me and until I killed it and I was looking at his body, and then it hit me. It struck me like a ton of bricks that these Onyx Lords, these Alabaster Lords, these people, most likely the Alabaster Lords, because they seem to be friendly, because they were teaching magic to Radon and gravity spells to Celia and stuff like that. So we'll at this point we'll just say that the Alabaster Lords, maybe perhaps, you know they were like a refugee race of space aliens or something, right? And I know that some item descriptions say that they had risen to life after a meteor struck, right? A meteor struck. So, what could that possibly mean if you think about it? If you were like an ancient civilization, they're kind of like in medieval times in this thing. If you see like a spacecraft or something crash, right? Oh, it's a meteor. It's on fire. It's coming out of the sky, or it's some type of comet or something, right? Your primitive mind is trying to understand what it's looking at because you don't understand what you're looking at. Um, that's if you take that myth, because it's a myth, right? The reason I say it's a myth because in the item description of the Alabaster's Lord sword, it uses the phrase "said to have," right? And "said to have" means it's like a third party or passed down information, and it can be twisted, like kind of like that game of telephone when you played as a kid. So said to have risen when a meteor struck long ago, right? Long ago, and then in some of the, I think with the Onyx Lord stuff, it calls them like an ancient race, and oh, even on that sword it says it's an ancient race, right? Of stone skin, right? But anyways, besides that, so let's say that primitive beings, humans, saw this, or beasts, or whoever, right? Or maybe they heard it from, because if they're ancient, that means they're probably older than recorded history, right? But anyways, if it's passed down from ear to mouth and mouth to ear, or whatever the saying is, information is going to get mixed up. But let's say they they continue to live here, and then they begin to breed, mix in. They create hybrids with people, and then they're powerful people, and they start to have hybrids of this alien race, and I think that's where we get these other humans, these other humanoids. You can see them with the throughout the game. Like Gustak, he's one. He stands around. You can look at him. He's got that elongated neck. He's got the misproportioned arms, just like the Fire Knights. Also, that's another thing that I noticed. Um, they're just like they're not completely human. They also have what looks like to be hybrid. Well, we'll just say hybrid ears. If you look at the Alabaster Lord or the Onyx Lord, they have like very sharp elf ears, alien elf ears, right? And then if you look at the others, the hybrids, their ears are less prominent, you know, because their alien blood has been diluted and mixed with humans, right? And as you see, as the time goes, you'll see like the helmets, the knight helmets, and stuff like that. You see, it's made to curve with their neck, and it's made to cover their little heads, and that's always bothered me because when I first started the game, I was like, how does this? The neck piece is like in the middle of your face, and the eyes are. It doesn't make any sense. Why are these helmets so messed up? And it's because they're hybrids. They're hybrids of these aliens, right? And so if the Onyx Lords or the Alabaster Lords, I'll take that back. If the Alabaster Lords are aliens, what if they were running away from the Onyx Lords? Because we see the Onyx Lords like teleport in. They're using like wormholes or whatever gravity magic to travel time and space into the reality of Elden Ring. What if they're refugees? What if they're because of their interbreeding with the races of the whatever this planet is called, the Elden Ring planet. I think the community should come up with a name for that, maybe. Yeah, I mean, and then you start that their influence of their bloodline begins to seep in all crevices of the world. Perhaps. Along with the dragons, because if they're skin of stone, right? Maybe because if you want to look at it that way, maybe they come from the same place the dragons came from. If dragons are aliens, or if they came from a shooting star, also, who knows? But just for the sake of this, theory, and it's out there. They are aliens. They've hybridized themselves with the humans of this planet, and they've made different things, and that's not far off, because if the shaman or the Newmans are supposed to be denizens from another world, another planet, the Elden Ring, one of the great things in my opinion about Elden Ring is the cosmic horror of it all, and then the whole cosmic sci-fi-ness of it all. That's not heavily implied, but ingrained into the lore, because we're dealing with extraterrestrials, extra Elden Ringerals, whatever this planet is called. It's being visited and controlled by alien beings, so it's so I believe. And that's going to be my statement. So my statement is that the lands between the knights, perhaps the nobility also, were all these hybrids of this alien race, because they were just better of humans. Because if you look, all the humans that we see are like these low-level people. They were the tarnished. They get thrown out. They get, they're like, what is it, crossbowmen and stuff like that. The knights, the nobility of the lands between are these hybrids. And you know what? Let me. Now that I think about it, let me make a small correction. The wandering nobles also, right? Those are humans. So maybe, perhaps, the protectors, because they're knights and stuff like that, and religious figures, because the religious folks that carry that thing on their chest for the 2 fingers or whatever, that board, I forget what it's called, but they're also these hybrids. So they were prominent in society, and let's not forget, perhaps America looked that way. We know Radagon didn't look that way. America seems to have that type of features. Her neck is kind of long in some of the statues, and her arms are oddly long, and so are Mesmer's, right? So she might be a descendant from that hybrid race, or from the Alabaster Lords. But that's pretty much it. That's all. That's my theory. I see there is a connection there. Evolution does tend to happen, in this game there, because we see the evolution of society, civilizations. Why not people? So Alabaster Lords intermingled with humans, quotes humans, but I don't know what to call them, and made these other races. And that's my theory. Let me know what you think. I'm here.